Okay guys, welcome back to our second series on this channel. In this series we are busy creating a Breakout game. If you haven't already seen the first two episodes of the series, please do go and watch them. In the first episode we went and started creating our main menu. And then in the second episode we started working on our gameplay, so we added in our paddle and our ball. And then we also made our ball, we added some force to our ball and made it shoot up whenever you press space, and as well as adding in the colliders above the top of the screen and on the side, so that when you shoot up the ball it bounces off and looks like it's hitting a wall. So that was our first two episodes of the series. In this third episode we are going to go and have a look here in our plan. So in our third episode we have currently got scheduled, we need to add in a play pause button to the game. We also need to we're going to start working on some of our blocks that we're going to break using them when the ball hits them. And then so yeah, that looks like that's all we're going to be doing for today's episode, so it should be fairly short. We'll see how it goes on. Maybe we'll if it is a bit short, we might just pop into the next episode a bit and try and get some of that done as well in this episode, so we shall see. It's not that hard, so hopefully everything goes smoothly. So I have like normal, I have gone ahead and open up our project just to save us some time. So if we go and play our game, let's just make sure that everything works and it's where we left off yesterday. So we've got our paddle and our ball. We can move our paddle from left to right using the arrow keys, and if we press space our ball starts moving up and we can bounce the ball off the top of the screen and off of the paddle. And if we miss the ball and it goes down, it gets destroyed out of the scene. So that's working perfectly. So that's all we did yesterday. Very simple. So let's move on to today's video. So what we're going to do again, let's just double check. So add in a play pause state to the game. So let's go ahead and do that. That should be very simple. So what we want to do is we want to open our scripts, and then let's see, we'll put that there. Oh, why did I just close that? Let's go ahead and open that again. So we want to add in a boolean into our game, and we can call this is paused, and this is gonna keep the state of our game. So we want, when we first open up the game, obviously the game is not going to be paused, so we want this to be false. So let's go ahead and set that to false, and then what we want to do is, actually we might need to take this out of the ball script and put it somewhere else, because we're going to need to use it in the other classes. So let's go, yeah, let's do that. So if we go into our Unity editor, let's go ahead and create our new script. We will call this let's just call it global script, and then we can go ahead and open this, and then we'll delete all of that because we probably won't need that. And the only thing that we're gonna have in here is our boolean. So boolean, okay, so we need to make this public so we can access it from the other two classes. Public bool is paused, just like that, like this, is equal to false. So that's it. So for now that's all we're gonna have in this class. We might add in some other things later, but for now we can go ahead and delete this because we don't want a duplicate of it. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and access this global script from our ball class. So for that we can in here say serialize field, and then we want to go game object game object global let's see, global manager. And then what we want to do is we want to access the global script off of that global manager. So we want to create a global script, and we will name this global script just so it makes sense, like that. And then what we can do is, if we go back to the Unity editor and in our game scene, which we are already in, we will go and create an empty object and call this game manager, just like that. And then we need to go ahead and add in our game manager onto the script, just like that. So that have we used the right one? Global script, sorry, not game manager. And we also need to rename this to global manager, just like that. We'll delete this because that's the wrong one, and then in here let's go global, so access the global script, and there you go, there's our is paused. So our is paused is currently set to false, which is perfect, that's what we want, because the game will be in play mode and not in pause mode when we launch it at first. So now what we can do is, if we click on our ball, you can see in the ball script we now have a reference to global manager. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and drag that in. So now in our script we can now go and get our global script off of our global manager, and to do that all we need to do is say global script is equal to global manager dot get component, and then the type, so we want the global script off of it, and that is it. So now we have access to our global script. So now that we've got access to that, we can use anything that is in this class that's set to public. So if you set something to private, you can't access it from out of the class. So that's fine, that's what we want. So in the update function, we only want to be allowed to add force to our ball if we are not paused. So let's go if what's it called? I'm going blank. If global script dot is paused. Rather, let's go if global script is not paused. Let's add some force to that. So cut that out and paste that in there. So now we can go back into our game. Wait for it to update. Let's just check if we saved that. Okay, we saved that. And now we can hopefully play this. If we click on our global manager, is paused is not equal to true, so if we press space we still get the ball moving if we press space, and if we press pause nothing happens. But if we go ahead and run it again, and then we can tick that, so now we are in a pause state. So if we go ahead and press space, nothing happens, but if we go and disable that and press space, our ball gets launched. So that's perfect. So now what we need to do is we need to do the exact same thing but in our paddle. So if you see, if we pause our game, then we can still move our paddle, which is not what we want. We want everything to freeze. So if we go into our paddle, we're going to do the same thing. So let's just go ahead and copy that in our paddle, and we'll put that in there. And then we again copy that because we need to access that again. And in our start function, we'll add in that. So we're going to go ahead and get the global script off of our global manager, just like we did in the ball script. So that's working, or we don't know if that's working, but we'll go ahead and test that now. Let's just get rid of some spaces because it doesn't look weird. It looks weird. So let's see. what else do we need to do? So let's see. Okay, so in our update method we want to do the same. We want to go ahead and check if the global manager dot is global script global script dot is paused is not true, then we can move our pedal, or we can allow the player to move the pedal. So move pedal, and then we'll paste in our function over there. So let's go ahead and see if this works. So let's play this. Okay, so we forgot to, we're getting an error here, so we need to go ahead and reference our global manager in our paddle script, just by simply dragging and dropping that in. So that should fix it now. So we shouldn't get any more errors. Okay, perfect. So at the moment you can see we can still move our paddle, because if we go into our global manager, you can see is pause is set to false. So if we set that to true and we press our arrows, you can see that nothing happens. And then if we go ahead and unpause, we can move our paddle again, and we can also launch our ball. So that's working nicely. We will work on freezing the ball in its position when the game is paused later on, once we've got in our blocks and stuff. So we are going to go ahead and start working on our blocks. So start creating a breakable block. So now what we want to do is we want to, let's say, create empty, and then in here we will say, actually no, let's delete that first, and then we simply want to go create 2D sprite and then create a square, and this is going to be our breakable block. So we just need to shape that. So maybe make it smaller a bit, maybe like this. What does that look like in our game view? We could probably make it a bit thicker, like that. Yeah, that should be fine. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and change the color. Or we can create a pink one, and then we want to, what else do we want to do? We want to go ahead and, what else do we want to do? So, okay, so we want to go and, okay, first of all, let's move this right above our ball so that we can interact with it once we've finished it. So on here, let's go ahead and add in a collider. We want to add in a box collider 2D, just make sure that fills up the entire box. That's perfect. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that, and then actually let's just play that now and see what happens. So hopefully it stays there and doesn't fall down, so that's great. So if we go ahead and launch the ball, you can see the ball now bounces off of our block. So that's perfect, that's working nicely. So let's rename this to pink block, just like that. And then we want to, let's go ahead and duplicate that, and then for this one we will name it blue block, and then obviously change the color from pink to blue, and then we zoom in, and then let's see if we can figure out how to do this. So okay, so let's make this like a round number, so 1.2 maybe. Same with this, 1.2, 1.2, and then for the height we'll make it 1.3, 0.3, sorry, and same for that, 0.3, just so that we have proper values and not just decimal places or weird decimal places. So let's go and put this right next to our pink one, and then all we have to do is just copy and paste them as many times as we want. So you can fill your level with as many blocks as you want. So let's go ahead and move that to about over there. We'll leave that gap in the middle just because it's not that important. So copy that and paste that over there. Let's see what that looks like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all of these, move it slightly that way, and then I'm just gonna add another pink one on this end, just like that. And then we want to go ahead and position these in the middle somehow, just like that. Should be fine. But what I am going to do, I'm going to get rid of that that gap because it looks weird and it's bothering me. Okay, so get rid of that gap quick, select those and move them just like that. So that looks good. And then what we can do, or what we should have done, and what we're going to go back and do now, is we're going to go ahead and create a, hold on guys, sorry. Okay, so sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead and delete that, because what we need to do is we need to create a prefab out of these blocks so that we can reuse them, and every time we change something to one block, it will change it to every single block. So that's what we didn't do. So all we need to do is simply drag these two into our prefab, drag them into our, no, clearly I think you can only drag one at a time, so drag that into our prefabs, and as well as the blue one, just like that. And then we will open up our blue block, and I have completely forgotten what we were going to do in here. So okay, let's just go back to our scene, maybe it'll come back to me. So let's go back to our scene. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy that again, and then let's see, paste that over there, and then let's see, copy all of these and move them to here. And then we don't need this blue one, so we'll go ahead and delete that, and then we need to move these slightly closer, just like that. And then this one a little bit closer, just like that. And then first of all, let's go see if this works. So if we play this, we should be able to bounce the ball off of all of these blocks, but for now we can only bounce off this one because we can't change the direction of the ball yet. So that looks good. The blocks are all identical other than the color, so it should work. Let's just check. Yeah, so box colliders on there, so that's good. So what we can do now is, just to make it look a little bit better, we will select all of these, copy and paste them, and then just move it up a bit, and then yeah, so we'll do that, and then we'll move it like that slightly, and then we'll remove this pink one. Wait, something's wrong here. Okay, so we need to change this, so we go ahead and delete that, delete this pink block, and we'll add in a new pink blue block, and we'll place this one over here, just so it looks a bit different. So if we move that like that, and then what we can do again, select all of them, copy, paste, move them down a bit, so like that. So that's just going to be our first initial level. We're just going to leave it like that for now. Very simple, but we'll just get things working, and then once we've got everything working, we will start making things look better. So now that if we play our game, we can see that okay, so we've got a ball bouncing off of our brick and our paddle, and okay, so that's working nicely. So now what we need to do is we need to do something when the ball hits the paddle. So let's just tick that off and then create a few block levels to use. So we won't do that just now. We will do that in a bit. So let's just get our collisions working. So we'll go ahead and do this one. So what we need to do is we need to go and add in, well, first of all, let's open up our blue block. We will add in a tag onto this. So let's go ahead and create a blue, or we'll say block. So we'll go ahead and add a block tag, and then for all of our blocks we will add in this block tag. So we'll save that. Perfect. And then for our pink block, we will open our pink block. There we go. Add in our tag onto that. So now if we go back to our scene, we should be able to see over here all of our blocks. Well, each block that we have has a tag of block on it. So that's why we created a prefab out of these. So instead of having to go into each individual block and go here and select the block tag for every single one of them, all we had to do is create 2 prefabs, and then whatever we do to one, it will update no matter how many times you use it in the scenes. So that is perfect. So now let's go back to our script and back to our ball script. So here we want to say in our on trigger enter, we want to go and say if the collision dot tag is equal to the block, let's go ahead and create this block string. So out of bounds, copy and paste that and change the out of bounds to block, and then we change the text to block. Make sure it matches your tag so that it registers it. So let's go and see if this works. So if we go back to our script, we need to add in something to do here. So for now, let's just go ahead and print out a message just so we can see if it works. So debug.log, let's see, lock hit, something simple and quick. So let's go and see if this works. So we'll wait for that to build. Looks like it's built, so let's go ahead and play this. So if we launch our ball, we see nothing happening. So let's go back into let's open up our blue box collider. Let's see if it works if we click is triggered on it. So in this pink, why is it not opening our pink block? Okay, there. So let's see, is triggered, let's set that to true, and then let us go and play our game. So hopefully this works. Does work? Okay, so let's launch our ball. Okay, it does work, but now you can see that our collision is not working, so it's not actually bouncing off. So maybe we need to do this different. So if we go back, we'll uncheck that. Same for the pink block. We'll save those, and then instead of using the on trigger enter, we will instead use on collision enter, and we will copy that and paste that in here. So as long as there is a rigid body on one of them, collision, oh, so collision, wait, what? Collision.gameObject.tag. There we go. So fix that. So let's see. If we go ahead and play this, hopefully now our ball will still collide with our blocks, and we will also get the is hit message displayed. So that is exactly what's happening. So that is perfect. That's what we wanted. Now what should we do? Let's see what's next in our game. So where are we? Episode 3. Okay, go away, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, so start working on ball to block collision. So we've done that. Our ball now collides with the blocks, and they display a message whenever they hit. So in the future, what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of that message and just destroy the blocks. So let's just do that quick and see what it looks like. So if we go in here, instead of saying debug.log block hit, let's just go and say destroy collision.game object, because we want to destroy the object that we are colliding with and not the object itself, as in the ball. So let's go ahead and play this. So you should see that it will hit this block, bounce back, this block will get destroyed, and it'll hit the paddle, bounce back up, and then break each other block. So destroyed, 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 and then it bounces off into the roof, or the block that we added there to stop the ball from going off the screen, and that is all it does. So now what we need to do is we actually need to work on allowing the ball to not just bounce up and down in a straight line, because if that is how the game would work, then we would never be able to break these blocks over here. So let's go and see what we can do for that. So if we go to, let's go back to our scene. First of all, let's tidy this up a bit. So let's go create empty. Let's call this level 1, and then we will copy all of these blocks and put them under this level. And then what we're going to do for this was, out of this level, we are actually going to create a prefab out of this. So that level, this entire collection of blocks here is now a prefab. So if we go and drag in this, or drag it into our scene rather, you'll actually see that we can just place all of the blocks at once, and then all we have to do is press play, and they should work exactly how the first section works. So that's fine. So we'll just go and leave that there for now, because it looks better. It looks a lot better with a lot of blocks. It doesn't look empty. But I don't like the gap at the top, so let's just go and push that like that. So that looks better. Actually a bit down, because we're gonna have to add in some text at the top for like your score and your lives and stuff like that. So what's next? Let's see. Actually, we're gonna delete this, because now it doesn't make sense for us having 2 levels. So what we can do is just delete. Actually, we'll just leave it for now. And then, so let's go ahead back into Notion and see what's next. Create a few block levels to use. So we could do that. Should we do that now? We're about half an hour into the stream, so let's see. Okay, well, we might as well. So let's just go ahead and create some levels. So first of all, I want to duplicate all of these, and then move them down to about there, just so that the level looks like it's got more blocks in it. So that's going to be our level 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to override this, so apply to all. So now that has updated our prefab, so our prefab will now look like what we've got in our scene, which is all of the blocks. And then what we can do is we'll just go ahead and copy and paste. Can you copy and paste a prefab? I doubt it. Okay, so we will go back into our scene, and then we will just copy and paste that prefab and change this to level 2. And then what we can do is we can select all the pink ones. It's going to take a while, but let's just do it. All the pink ones. So you can customize your levels however you want. For this, we are just going to go and we're just going to change the color of our block. So let's make it. Should we make it? Let's make it orange. That Excuse me. So that looks pretty sick. What else can we do? We could probably not. It will probably take. Actually, it won't take a while because we can just select them in scene. So we can. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll go and drag this into our prefab in here, like that. Original prefab, and then we will delete it out of our scene. Go ahead and open our prefab. So now we can customize our level in here. So what I want to do is I want to select all of these ones, just like this. Maybe even these three as well as these ones, and then we just want to delete them. Just make something different. So I think that's fine. And then let's go ahead and change the color of our blue ones, just so that we have a variety of different colors in our game. So we've already used blue, so let's maybe change that to, let's say, about, what's a nice color? No, we've used blue. We have used pink. We haven't used red, but red doesn't really go. So let's go. We'll make it yellow. So we'll use that color. So we'll leave that as our level 1. I mean, sorry, level 2. So that looks good. Should we make another one? So what happens if we go into our scene? Okay, so we've only got our first level in our scene at the moment, so let's just make sure this still works. So play it, launch our ball. Okay, so it still breaks our blocks, so perfect, that's working. So what else do we want to do? We want to, let's see. Okay, so create a few. Okay, so we're still doing that. So should we work on the? No, we'll leave the particles for a new video because that might take a bit of time. So let's see what's in episode 4. Destroy blocks when ball hits. We've already done that, so we'll just go ahead and check that off. Create a block break animation to play when that's the particles. Add in the break sound when hit. We need to find these sounds, and then we also need to add in sounds for paddle collision and out of bounds. Okay, so I think that's probably going to be it for this episode, because I actually need to go online and try and find some free sounds to use in this game. That might take a while, so I'm probably not going to do it in the stream, but I will. If I find some, I will put them. I put the links in the description just in case you guys want to use the same sounds. So for now, let's go ahead and just save this quick. File, save project. Not like yesterday, I forgot to save the project before committing. And file, save ball. So okay, wait, let's see. Okay, so they've all been saved because they don't have this little icon, or that little white circle there. So say that if you save it, you can see it goes away. So that's been saved. We'll close that. Close that. Okay, that's been weird. But anyway, we'll go ahead and minimize that, and then we want to go ahead and commit this to GitHub. Just a reminder that this the link to this repo is actually in the description. So if you want to follow along, or if you want to download the full game, go ahead. The link's the link is in the description, and I believe the project is set to public. So feel free if you want to download it and have a look at it. So let's go. What do we do in this episode? We started game state and creating blocks. So let's do that. So we added in a pause / play state to the game, which is unfinished. We still need to work on that. Once we've got in like everything, like a part of particles effects and all of the other stuff, we will finish that off. And then we created our breakable blocks and started working on some of our levels. So we will create more levels probably in the next episode, or maybe in the last episode, because we can just create them and then drag and drop them into an array list that we'll use to spawn them into the scene, so we can have as many levels as we want. We won't make too many, but we'll make a few, just so the game's not too short. So let's go ahead and commit that, and then once that's done we can push that to origin. So I think that is actually it for this episode. Let's just check. Last minute checks, create a few blocks, levels we used, and we have committed that to the main. So okay, so that is it for this episode. I just want to thank you for watching this episode, and if you haven't done already, please do go and look at the first series that we made. It's a nice little small game. It didn't take us long, only took us about 4 episodes to do. And if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes of this series, go and check that out. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed these series, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss out on a new video. But for now, I think that's it, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. So thank you and bye.